Welcome. Take a deep breath, and imagine you are sitting on the bank. Welcome. Take a deep breath, and imagine. Welcome. Take a deep breath, and imagine you are sitting on the banks of a great river in North America thousands of years ago. The water flows quietly, the wind carries the scent of pine, birds drift by slowly. Today, we will explore American history, at a gentle, calm, and warm pace. This journey is not about war or harsh politics, but about the people, nature, and the traces of time that shaped a nation. Before this continent was known as America, thousands of years before, there was a rich and peaceful life. Native tribes such as the Navajo, Cherokee, Iroquois, and Lakota lived near rivers, forests, and vast plains. They lived in harmony with nature. They hunted wisely, farmed corn, beans, and squash, and honored the earth as the mother of life. At night, families sat around the fire. Elders told stories of guardian spirits, the sky, and the stars. Stories passed down from generation to generation. That was the beginning of American history, a world silent yet full of meaning. In the late 15th century, great ships began to appear on the Atlantic horizon. They came from faraway worlds: Spain, Portugal, France, and England. With white sails billowing in the breeze, they arrived with curiosity. The first explorers drew crude maps. They walked through dense forests, captivated by mighty rivers and endless plains. Some came in peace, some came with ambition, but all saw America as a mysterious land they didn't yet understand. Amid the sounds of birds and the rustling of leaves, the beginnings of great change began. In the early 17th century, small villages began to emerge. Picture a cold morning in Jamestown, the first English colony. Simple wooden houses stand near the river. A thin smoke rises from stone hearths. The colonists worked hard, building, planting, and learning to survive. They cut wood, planted tobacco, and built roads. Their days were long, but the new world seemed full of hope. Meanwhile, their relationship with the Native Americans was dynamic, sometimes peaceful, with food exchanges, sometimes tense. But amidst it all, the new colonies slowly grew. As the years passed, the 13 English colonies on the eastern seaboard flourished. Small towns like Boston, New York, and Philadelphia grew into trading centers. You can imagine the sound of horse-drawn carriages on cobblestone streets, busy markets, and harbors filled with ships from all over the world. But not all was calm. The colonists began to feel the difference between living in the new world and the rules of the old. They wanted freedom. They wanted self-determination. The seeds of change began to grow. Quietly, slowly, but surely. In a Boston tea house, the sounds of conversation began to turn to whispers of freedom. Farmers, merchants, and thinkers like Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson spoke of rights, the voice of the people, and the future of this new land. The revolution was not just a war. It began with an idea, hope, and a dream of freedom. The voice of the pen that wrote the Declaration of Independence became the most influential voice in American history. The year 1776 was a turning point. The colonists declared themselves a free nation. In a humble room in Philadelphia, the Founding Fathers signed a document that would change history forever. All men are created equal. It was the beginning of a long journey for a new nation. The United States was born out of hard work, sacrifice, and a grand dream the world had never before attempted. After independence, America expanded westward. Adventurers, Families and dreamers traveled thousands of miles across mountains, prairies, and mighty rivers. They built new cities, railroads, and bridges. The journey wasn't always easy, but the spirit was always the same, the search for a better life. Now, the night is growing calmer. Imagine you are sitting by the river again. As the story begins, the water continues to flow gently, just like the history of America continues to unfold, from ancient tribes, explorers, colonizers, to the birth of a nation. All are part of a long story that shaped the world we know today. After independence, America was still very young. The roads were rough, the cities were just beginning to grow, and the government was still figuring itself out. The founding fathers, Washington, Adams, Jefferson, sought to maintain stability. They established core values: liberty, law, and unity. Though they sometimes disagreed, their goal was the same: to ensure the country functioned without tyranny. In simple wooden houses, families gathered to discuss a hopeful future. In small villages, life remained simple. Mornings began with milking cows, gathering water, and preparing a breakfast of corn or bread. In large cities like Philadelphia or Boston, markets began to bustle with cloth merchants, tailors, candle makers, and woodworkers. The sound of workers' boots rang out on the cobblestone streets. Horse-drawn carriages passed slowly by, and at night, oil lamps burned in every window. The American people built this nation not by speed, but by perseverance. Beginning in the early 19th century, many families left their homes in the East and began the arduous journey west. Imagine a long, lonely stretch of road, lined with seemingly endless blue mountains. Their wooden wagons moved slowly, pulled by large oxen. They faced rain, wind, and cold. But every night, they sat around the campfire, talking about the new land, the new freedom, and the new life they imagined. The journey westward was more than just a migration. It was the great American dream. As families arrived in the West, they built small towns from scratch. The first houses were always made of wood. Then came small general stores, log churches, and pubs where people gathered. The atmosphere of the frontier was calm yet confident. You can imagine the sound of saws, children's laughter, and the wind caressing the new wheat fields. Places like Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, and later Texas began to develop rapidly. As the West expanded, towns in the East began to change. Small factories sprang up. Steamboats began to dominate the great rivers. Workers, blacksmiths, shipbuilders, weavers, worked at a slow but steady pace. The machines weren't as powerful as they would be in later eras, but they were enough to transform the lives of many. In the evenings, families would gather around, recounting the day's activities over a warm soup of corn or peas. Early industry brought change, but people lived in harmony. American culture developed from many influences: European folk songs, African traditions, Native American stories, and church music. In the evenings, you can imagine a small family playing the fiddle, banjo, or harmonica. Their songs were simple, yet full of feeling. Folk tales flourished, about forest spirits, local heroes, and daring adventurers. This culture became the foundation of the American character: warm, diverse, and full of hope. Before the great conflicts of the 19th century, America experienced a period of tranquility, a time when people focused on building, gardening, trading, and raising families. The streets were busy but not noisy. Cities grew, but not in a hurry. The world still felt vast, peaceful, and full of opportunity. This was a time when America felt like a large, ever-expanding house, its doors open to a vast future. Now we return to the present. Imagine dusk falling slowly, the sound of a gentle breeze touching the leaves of the trees. Our journey today shows how America grew from a young nation into a thriving nation of faith and big dreams. Thank you for listening. May this gentle story bring you a calm and peaceful evening.